What's going on? It's CVG here, Team Freedom Focus. And you know what we're going to get into today. You remember what we talked about yesterday? The three most important reasons why you always want to be self-motivated. And what are we going to go over today? The five most critical, most important keys for you to always remain self-motivated every single moment, every single day, every single month, every single year of your life. You're gonna now be self-motivated. By the time we reach, you stay to the end of this video, you're gonna be so self-motivated. You're gonna know exactly what you need to do. Don't worry about this whiteboard right here behind me just yet. I'll get into every single one of these. We're gonna deep dive into each single every single one of these keys together. All right, together. All right, are you ready? I'm ready. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. I'm ready. Let's do this. All right, so before we get into these deep subjects, before we get into these five keys, these deep topics on being self-motivated, couple of people I want to mention, couple of legends that I want to talk about. You may have heard of them. Both of them are from New York. One of them is from New York. The other's from New York. One of them's a millionaire. One's a billionaire. The first one is Jay-Z. The second one is Donald Trump. So you may not know this about Jay-Z or Sean Connery, but he's worth about $500 million right now, okay? He grew up in the projects of Marcy, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, and Jay-Z, by the time he was a very, very young kid, he always knew that he always wanted to be a rapper. All right, he knew he always wanted to be a rapper, okay? That's what he liked to do. He liked to flow, write poetry. But what you might not know about him is that he heard no from record companies multiple times. And not like a general no, like you're like some random kid with a CD, get out of here. They listened to him specifically. They watched him. They saw him. And they told him, no, we don't think you have what it takes, Jay-Z. That's what they told him. We don't think you have what it takes. The first time he was with his mentor in London, who had a record deal, he went to London to record the music video. All the record people were there. They put the thing out, and they looked at him again, and they said, "You're not the guy." Okay, that's what they told him. You're not the guy. Second time, a couple of years later in New York, starting to gain a following in the city of New York, doing local shows and things like that. And once again, record companies, they said, no, we don't think you have what it takes. All right, the industry is going in a different direction, and that's not really you. Okay, what did Jay-Z do? What did he do in that situation? I'll tell you at the end of this video. Second story, Donald Trump. You may not know about this about Donald Trump, but he was not born a billionaire. Donald Trump was born into money, but he was not born a billionaire. His father was never a billionaire. His father actually, believe it or not, actually stayed on the poor side of town and never moved his business in the wealthier side of town. He kind of played in the minor leagues. He never stepped into the major leagues, which I don't think Donald really ever appreciated. I think Donald actually always thought that he had it in him to be someone greater, to be someone bigger, bolder. But there's a point in Donald's early career in How to Get Rich in his book. And there was this huge building that he wanted to take over. There was this whole vision that he wanted to create, or what could be built. The amount of moving pieces to make this happen was ridiculous. The odds were entirely stacked against him. This is something someone who would have been in the business for 40 years couldn't even put together. And he was in his late 20s, early 30s, and still a rookie in the game. And as he started putting the pieces together, he got a no and a no and a no. And he started, what did he do? He ignored it. Oh, he ignored all those no's. And then it got deeper and deeper and deeper. And the obstacles kept getting stacked higher and higher and higher against him, and more challenges and more bullshit. Like, this couldn't happen. This is far too ridiculous. This could never happen. You will never make this happen. How did Donald Trump respond? That will be discussed at the end of this video. Okay, so right now I want to go over the 5 most important, critical, crucial keys for you to be always self-motivated for the rest of your life. Number 1, clarity. All right. Clarity of your vision, okay? Clarity of your mission, clarity of your vision, okay? The truth is, the real reason why most people aren't truly self-motivated, why they stop after a while, like there's something that you wanted to achieve, but you just let it go, which is bullshit, and we both know it, and there's nothing wrong with you or anything else or anything like that. It's simply because the reason that you didn't achieve it, it's simply because that you weren't totally clear on your vision. The reason that you didn't achieve it is because you weren't clear what you want. Okay, clarity is 100% power. When you are totally, entirely clear on what you want, that's when you can be allowed to channel your desire totally and completely and entirely in that direction, towards your direct path, towards your direct mission, towards your direct vision. That's what clarity allows you to do, okay? We live in a world right now where you're getting hit with tens of thousands of marketing messages a day. The average human being has about 70,000 thoughts in their head every single day. And that's just in their waking hours. That's not including what's happening in sleep. That means that 16-ish hours a day, all of the average human beings are having about 70,000 thoughts a day. What a waste, okay? People talk about using drugs or drinking a lot, wasting their mind, okay? No. Having 70,000 bullshit thoughts a day, that's a waste of your mind. High achievers have about 15,000 thoughts a day. Extremely successful achievers have about 8 to 10,000 thoughts a day. And the most powerful, most self-motivated, clear human beings on the face of this planet have about 3 to 5,000 thoughts a day. And I can assure you, when you reach a point in your life when you only have about 3 to 5,000 thoughts a day, and predominantly all of them are about your clear vision, about the thing that you want, about you succeeding, about you becoming, about you delivering, about you evolving and giving huge value to the world, to your friends, your family, your loved ones. When you hit that point, you will be immensely successful, and far more successful than you and I both can probably imagine right now. And I have a huge imagination, huge imagination. You're going to be even more successful than I think and know that you're going to be, okay? Clarity of vision equals self-motivation, okay? And the reason is because your desire requires clear targets and clear outcomes. There's a very close relationship between desire and self-motivation. It's a very close relationship. The only difference is that desire can come from outside or external things. And obviously, on the other hand, the self obviously comes from within. The self-motivation is internally derived desire. It's desire that you create for yourself by you deciding on what target that you want to hit. When you're clear on what you want, that's when you can really see it. That's when you can smell it, taste it, hear it, touch it, grasp it. You can pick it up, wrap it in a blanket. When you can do all of that, when you can indulge all of your senses into exactly what you want, that's when your desire for what you want will skyrocket. People ask me, how can I increase my desire to want more wealth, to want more focus, to want to succeed, to want more wealth? Get clear on what you want, a clear, decided target, and immerse yourself in it. See it, taste it, touch it, smell it. You should think about it as soon as you wake up, every single day. All right, I don't care. Surround yourself with it. The more you hear it, see it, touch it, feel it, sense it, the more you are going to want it, the more your desire will manifest itself. And again, that was internally derived desire. And it didn't come from a commercial. It didn't come from a girl. It didn't come from a friend, a teacher's comment, a parent's comment. It was you. And you made it by yourself, for yourself. Okay. For example, one thing that I want, and this is obviously a more of an outcome desire, one thing that I want is 100 amazing, effective A+ physique case studies in health and fitness for guys. I want 100 in the Team Freedom Fitness Focus catalog. Okay, I want 100 amazing, effective A+ physique case studies in 12 months or less in health and fitness for guys. Okay, and notice how specific it is. Okay, I'll say that again. I want 100 amazing, successful, effective A+ physique badass case studies, and I want the 100th one to be better than any physique case study that I have out there. Okay, I want it to be the best thing out there, and the worst one must be better than anything else out there. Okay, and I know when I reach that point, that's what I want. Okay, notice how clear I am on my vision. And notice whenever I hit that point, the amount of value I will be delivering to the world will be insane. And the effect that will have on the people in my circle will be insane. All right. That's a clear target. That's 100. I didn't say some programs. I didn't say some fields. I said in health and fitness for guys, A+ case studies in 12 months or less. I know exactly what I want. I write that down in my journal every single morning and every single night. And that is clarity of vision. And it strokes the fire of desire a shitload. And that's key number one to always being self-motivated. Let's talk about key number two. Key number two to always being self-motivated is having this knowledge that you know you're meant to be a revered legend, even if you don't know why. Okay, all the most successful, high-value, high-status badasses of all time, for whatever reason, it's usually a delusional belief. All of the badasses out there, all of them, have this delusional idea they're just meant to be legends. Okay, they're just meant to be legends. All right, so they're just meant to. All right, they're just supposed to. All right, what was it that drew Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Alexander the Great to say, you know what, I have to conquer the entire known world, so I'm going to conquer it now. I'm out. What is it that drives someone to make that decision, to do that? Okay, did he have a dream about it? Was he visited by an angel? Was he told it by parents or his friends? No, right? He just had to do it, okay? He had to do it. He created that and manifested it for himself. He said, this is what I have to do, and I don't know why, for whatever reason. I'm just meant to. And what's funny about it, as Alexander the Great was on his journey conquering the world, he would go around to different priests and stuff like that in Egypt. He wanted them to tell him that this is what he was meant to do. He was meant to take over the world, okay? And interestingly, they told him that's what he was meant to do, because they knew if they didn't tell him that this is what he was meant to do, he would kill him. All right. He knew he was going to succeed anyways. Anything that confirmed his delusional belief that he was meant to be a legend was totally seen, heard, accepted, internalized. And anything that didn't was killed. All right. And obviously we don't kill anyone today. obviously. But he had this delusional belief that he was meant to be a legend. His delusional belief that he was meant to be a legend. And I'll ask you, are you meant to be a legend? Are you meant for greatness? Okay. It is one of my beliefs that not every single human being, not every single badass has a sense of personal greatness in them. If you look back at the last tens of hundreds of thousands of years of different tribes and stuff like that, not everyone in the tribe was meant to be a badass, all right? They weren't. That's just the truth, okay? That's okay. But me and you, we're here. We're in here discussing this right now. We're inside. We're a little bit different. You and me are a little bit different. You wouldn't be here if you were meant to be great, okay? Deep down, inside, okay? There's no point in fighting it. There's no point in trying to be humble or modest about it. It's a waste of time. You and me both know we're meant to be great. You and me both know we're meant to be great. You and me are meant to be great, are meant to be legends, okay? That's just how it's supposed to be, all right? When you can finally accept that, when you give yourself permission, all right? Give yourself permission. I'm giving you permission right now. I'm saying, dude, it's okay. Some of us are better than others. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how life works. You are just meant to be greater than others. You were just meant for personal greatness. You were just meant to do legendary things. You were just meant to be great, okay? And because of that, it's not that hard for you to be self-motivated, okay? Everything that we're doing right now, you listening to this talk right now, letting it go down into your subconscious so that seed can fertilize and grow a strong oak tree. All of this is just a part of our personal stories, our personal legends. 5 years from now, when you're extremely more successful than you are right now, and people are asking you how you did it, how you still do it, what you're doing right now is going to be a part of that legendary story. 5 years from now, down the road, you're going to look back to this time right now, and you're going to think how great it was for you to learn this information. How excited you were, how amped you felt when you realized that you were meant to be a legend, okay? When you found out that you were meant to be great, okay? And you found out that now is your time to make it happen, all right? You're going to tell someone, think about it, imagine it. You're going to tell someone, I just knew I was meant for personal greatness. When I stopped fighting it and accepted it and I let it go, I was off like a cannon. I was off like a rocket ship. And that's exactly where me and you are right now, okay? You are just meant to be a legend, okay? You don't know why. You just know it. A very small, select few of us, that's just how we're wired, okay? We're put here for different reasons. Greatness, leadership, giving value, raising others up. That's just what we do. That's key number 2, all right? That's key number 2. Let's talk about key number 3. It's understanding and being more excited about who you're becoming over transient, superfluous outcomes. All right. Outcomes are things you can't control. Okay. So let's take girls for an example. When a lot of guys first go and get a relationship, first go and start dating women, they wanted a certain outcome. They wanted to bang a hot girl, wanted to attract a hot girlfriend. They wanted to have a harem of hot women on speed dial. They wanted to be the man in their group, their city, their world. There's a certain outcome that they wanted, all right? And if they took a lot of action and invested in themselves, they kept rising their personal value, their personal game, they probably reached that outcome, right? They probably reached that outcome. And with my customers and clients, We have over 95% success rate and under a 5% refund rate with our customers and our programs, okay? And maybe even for you, you found out that getting those girls and having all those options was not as rewarding as you thought it would be. It might have been very rewarding for that night, or even a few months or even a few weeks. But at some point, you realize that it's not what you thought it would be. Even when all the girls started coming your way, and it's not, okay? It's not because you need to find the right girl, which is a bullshit social convention because women are trying to lock you down because women will never be able to provide you with the rewarding feelings that you're looking for, okay? That's not what they're here for. You're here to achieve your mission and develop your vision. They're here for creating and procreating, okay? And it's a good thing that you learn that. That's a part of the process, and that's something each of us have to learn on our own, okay? You have to be focused on your mission. Once you reach that point, you're free. You're basically free, and you realize all these outcomes, all these transient, superfluous outcomes aren't going to provide you with the rewarding feelings that you're working toward, that you're looking for. Now you're you know that outcomes are transient. You can't control outcomes. They come, they go. Some outcomes are dynamic. Sometimes they work your way, sometimes they don't. All right. So when you're out there and you're meeting that girl and you're attracting those girls, those types of women that you wanted that you could not get before, it was never about the girls. It was never about any of them. It was about you. It was about who you were becoming, right? It was about the personality that you were developing, the strength of character that you were developing, the strength of character, the moral code, the internal code, the game, the communication, the influence, the body language, the eye contact, the vocal tonality, the sub communications, the ability to inspire, to motivate, to turn on, all those skills and powers that you now have. That's what it was about. All right. It was about who you were becoming. And now, as you continue towards on your journey, as your legend continues to be laid down, it's that excitement about who can you become now? You think about who you can become now. You imagine it. You think about all the things that you've shown yourself. You went from A to B and went from B to D and then D to M. Imagine when you get to Z. Imagine how high up, how strong, how big, how bold, what kind of person that you're going to be when you get to that level. I'll tell you right now, the hotness of girls that I've slept with is meaningless. It makes no difference at all. It's meaningless. Okay. I've attracted and hooked up with some of the hottest girls and some of the hottest girls and some of the sixes at the lowest points in my life. I'm talking about Miss Fitness USA's, Victoria's Secret models, bottle girls, famous strippers, even a world famous pop star. It's ridiculous. The hotness of girls that I've slept with before is meaningless at this point, because I have seen how many other factors are going on in my environment that play a role in me hooking up with those girls. It's just meaningless to me at this point. I don't need their validation to know that my game is amazing. My game is amazing because I work on it every single day. I work on myself, my personal value. I push myself, my game every single day, okay? Because I know if it's the 10 or the 9, the famous 9 or famous 10 that I hooked up with, I can tell you, for instance, Miss Fitness USA, I ended up hooking up with in Vegas. That way that it happened that night, it wasn't like I made the whole thing happen. I went out to a marquee nightclub in Vegas. I met a friend that didn't expect to see. He had a table in VIP. I was sitting at the table in VIP, and a bouncer happened to bring a group of girls, and she was in that group. And then she happened to spill a drink. All those variables, I couldn't control all of those variables. The only thing that I could control, the thing that was within my control, was my game, my personal value that I've been developing. When she spilled her drink, what did I say? I said, that's why we can't have nice things at home. Playful, challenging. It was easy from that point on. All those variables, I could not control those variables. Only thing that I could control was my game. And the fact that pulling out the perfect, brilliant money line made me more excited than hooking up with her. I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. That made me more excited. All right. Because it wasn't about the girls. Okay. It's not about the girls anymore. It's so much greater than that. It's so much greater than that. I really hope you grasp this. Okay. And I'm excited, okay? I'm excited about who I can become now. I'm excited about my personal development, my personal evolution, my personal transformation. That excites the shit out of me over outcomes, transient, superfluous outcomes, okay? When we talk about some self-motivation, when there's some big things that you're working towards, whatever your big, huge, amazing vision is, the thing that you want, the clarity of vision that you have for whatever it is that you're working towards, or the many things that you're working towards. You can want a lot of things. That's fine. But in truth, whatever those things are, you're probably going to be more excited about the person that you're going to get to become in order to attract and deserve those things. All right? For instance, if one of your goals is that you want $10 million net worth, like, that's amazing. All right, that's amazing. You should have 12 Maseratis and Bentleys and Jaguars at that point. But imagine the kind of person that you're going to have to become, the kind of businessman that you're going to have to become, the kind of communicator that you're going to have to become, the kind of manager, influencer that you're going to have to become, persuader that you're going to have to become in order to become the kind of person that's worth 10 million bucks. Because I can tell you that version of you that is worth that much money is not the same guy that I'm talking to right now. That version of you will be extremely greater than who you are now. That it should excite the shit out of you. Because when you're that amazing version of yourself, strongest version of yourself, not only will have all those things that you want, you have no idea how many other doors are going to open up for you as you evolve into a greater, more effective, more persuasive and communicator, that kind of person, that kind of version of yourself. Because as you're on that path, becoming that valuable, more people are going to be attracted to you because you are becoming more valuable. That is going to open doors. Those people are going to know people, and they're going to introduce those people to you. I want you to know how great it's going to be. Okay. I want you to know how incredible it's going to be for you. And since at this point, since the outcome is meaningless, it's kind of like a game. Okay. It's kind of like a game. My personal development, my personal transformation is kind of like a game. I want to see how big I can take this. I want to see how big you can take this. All right. I want to see how far we can go and on this mission together. I want to see how much value can be delivered, how much I can give so that you can keep pushing it as well. Okay, that motivates me because I know if I don't, when I get home and I close my eyes and go to lay my head on that pillow, I cannot go to sleep knowing that I held back. That infuriates me. It infuriates every self-motivated, action-taking badass just like you. They hate it, knowing that they didn't go as far as they could, not go as big as they could go, how much value that they could deliver, how valuable that they could become. Okay, what's one rule that I have for myself? Nothing left in my heart. Nothing left on my lips. So many people, So many guys go to the grave with this heart, with this music in their heart and on their lips, but not for me. I'm going to let it all out every single day. Nothing left in my heart, nothing left on my lips. Okay. That motivates me, and it motivates the shit out of every single self-motivated badass just like you. So that's key number 3. Let's talk about key number 4 to being self-motivated. This is called courage immersion. Courage immersion. This means as a part of you always being self-motivated, you should always surround yourself with courageous stories of courageousness, people's biographies of courageousness, other people you know, surrounding yourself with other people you know and hearing stories about courageousness, listening to music of stories of courageousness. Okay. Big time courage. You can show your conscious, you can show your subconscious big time courage, and that's going to allow you to be more self-motivated. Most people would never ever think about this right here. Okay, they'll never consciously control their environment, and they'll never consciously add courage to their environment on purpose. They'll take what the environment gives them. Okay, and I'll be truthful with you. Do you think that the environment gives a fuck about you? If I don't control the environment, I do not expect the environment to support me whatsoever. Okay, if I were to just go and turn the fucking TV on, I will not expect the TV to show me some really inspiring story about some badass that did something incredible and great that will motivate me. It will not happen. Okay, I turn the TV on, you know what I see? Bullshit, fear, misweighing bias, dedicating to the fear and mediocrity of the world. That's what I see when I turn it on. So I don't turn it on. You know what I turn on? I take the batteries out of the remote. I switch on books. Okay, I listen to books. I listen to stories of courageousness, biographies of courageousness for at least 20 minutes before I go to bed. And I read stories of courageousness, of great men, of great teams. I surround myself with stories of courageousness because I know that that courageousness is going to rub off on me. Because I know if I'm reading a book of Conrad Hilton and the amazing vision to build 100 amazing, successful hotels, and I'm 6 hours in the next day and I'm working and I'm hungry and I can't see straight and I'm hungry, tired, and I'm going to know in that moment I'm going to get a picture in my head, and I'm going to get the same picture that I imagined in my head last night when I was reading about Conrad Hilton. 6 hours in, working, tired, hungry, not wanting to work, and then I get that picture in my head about Conrad Hilton wanting to own 100 amazing hotels, and he gets right back into it and he starts killing it on his path, becoming legendary. Okay, when I'm there and I see that picture, you know what that does for me? Boom, re-up, default move. I feel so much better, so much motivated, so much inspired, and I finish the job, whatever it is that I have to do, and I finish the job quickly and cleanly, whatever it is that I have to do. Okay, that is why we surround ourselves with courage. All right, that's key number 4 to always being self-motivated. All right, let's talk about the last key. Key number 5. Being precise on your enemy, okay? Knowing and hating your enemy. And that is the very first key to being self-motivated is clarity of vision. When you are extremely clear on what you want, you'll be a lot more self-motivated. Your desire will be a lot stronger. That clarity is a lot stronger. That's power. You also need clarity on your enemy, the thing that you do not want. You need to be extremely clear on what will happen to you if you're not self-motivated. You need to be extremely clear on what will happen to you if you do not consciously self-motivate yourself, okay? So I'll ask you right now, please take a second. What is it that you want in your life? Let's talk business, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work for someone else, you're building your own company, whatever it is, 12 months from now, if you are not self-motivated, if you do something like the minimum and work at the lowest capacity and work like 8 hours a day, what will your company look like 12 months from now? What will your net worth in your business look like if you look back at the last 12 months of your life and you were not self-motivated? You were just kind of going through the emotions and letting the environment control you, and you were not clear and you weren't motivated. You were like everyone else. You were mediocre and you're average and you settle. And you look back at the last 12 months of your life, would you be proud of who you have become? Would you be happy about who you have become? Would you be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm a fucking badass and no one fucking matches me? Or will you not even want to look at yourself in the mirror? Would you be ashamed to look at yourself in the mirror because you're ashamed of what you see, of who you have become? I'm not saying this to get you angry, or get you down, or get you depressed, or get you to sad. You need to be clear on what will happen to you if you do not consistently self-motivate yourself, because I see it everywhere in the world. 95% of the world, I see it. I see it. I see what it looks like when you're not self-motivated. You're weak. You're a dust. You're a fart in the wind, okay? The wind blows. It takes you off your course. It takes you and floats you away, and you can't do anything about it. You're not grounded. You have no self-motivation. You're a robot. You're literally nothing but a bunch of buttons that global marketing pushes and the media pushes and the government pushes, and with the little baby marketing. You're just a pawn in their game. You're not the king of your own game. And then I look around, I see a couple people like you who are self-motivated, who are on their path, who are not at the effect, they're at the cause. They cause everything to happen in their life. They're proactive ones. They're not the reactive ones. They're self-motivated. They're not excellent motivated. They're clear on their targets and their vision. They know exactly what will happen to them if they do not consistently re-up on themselves and then not consistently motivate themselves. Remember, self-motivation is just like eating. You do it every single day, multiple times a day. So be extremely clear, know exactly what will happen to you if you do not remain self-motivated to stay on your chosen path towards your vision, towards dominating your mission, taking action, putting your time, your energy, your effort on you. You know exactly what happens if you don't, right? You know what your future is if you don't. Living a life of mediocrity, all right? And you need to despise that future, that version of you, because that will never happen to you. All right. I will never give up on myself. Will you give up on yourself? All right. Know your enemy, loathe your enemy, hate, despise your enemy. So that are the 5 most important keys for you to always being self-motivated. So we talked about the very beginning of this video, Jay-Z and Donald Trump. So let's finish both of those stories, and I'll remind you of the 3 most important keys to being self-motivated. Obstacles were stacked. Jay-Z, there was no way he could do it. And then he went deeper into it, Donald Trump, and then he actually figured out there were way more obstacles that he ever thought that would happen, that there were ever going to be. So much more obstacles, so much more roadblocks. The fire kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and everybody was like, dude, there's no way you can make this happen. Dude, this is ridiculous. This will never happen. This is impossible. Just try anything else. So what did he do? What did Donald Trump do? He kept going. He was self-motivated. He kept motivating himself. He didn't listen to anybody else. He had the delusional belief that he was meant to be a legendary. All right. It was Donald Trump. He kept going. He kept motivating himself. He stayed clear and excited. He kept immersing himself in courage. He knew exactly what would happen to him if he did not stay motivated. He kept bouncing the ball in the moment, staying self-motivated, all right? He took care of each obstacle and each challenge, and he devoured it. And it took him way longer than he thought it would take him. It took him years, but he made it happen. He kept going. And I think within 4 or 5 years of that happening, of those challenging coming up, he went from a millionaire to a billionaire. All right. If you were to show me a group of 100,000 people, 9,999 of them would not done it what he did. They would have listened to mediocrity. Out of the 100,000, he would have been the only one who did it. And possibly there would have been one other hugely self-motivated badass, maybe even you, who would have done the same thing and followed through. What about Jay-Z? Jay-Z wanted to be a rapper his whole life. He was 25 when he heard his first no. He wasn't like a young kid. He was already at 26. He wasn't a young kid. He was a young adult. And he heard his second no at 26. And they said, we've looked at you very closely. We've went to your shows. We've listened to your music. And as a company who produces several other huge stars, we don't think you have what it takes. So what did Jay-Z do? 26 years old. He took all of his savings and put it into a new company. It was called Rockefeller Records. And within a year, big star. Within 3 years, went from 0 to 40 million. And then within 10 years, went from 0 in 96 to $350 million in 2006. And as a record for you, 1.2 in 2009, $1.2 billion. That's what he did. That's what Donald Trump did. You know what I do. The question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. The 3 most important reasons why, one more time, why being self-motivated is just so important. Number 1, when you're self-motivated, you're willing to choose success over sleep. You don't go to sleep until you succeed. That's just your priority list now. Obviously, the people who do that, they don't lose. They just win. Number 2, you understand that external motivation doesn't really last, and internal motivation never runs dry. Number 3, you're at the mercy of no man and no thing, and that gives you total and complete control of your destiny. You know where your desire comes from. You know it comes from within. You know that motivation comes from within. You know it never runs dry because it comes from within. You know that you can always re-up, and it gives you a never-ending well of success and motivation that you can go back to and feel inspired and feel motivated and feel encouraged, so that you can continue towards your mission on your path. So as we will end these talks, and as we will I'll end most of these talks, what will you choose to do now? What will you do now? What are you willing to sacrifice for what you want now? Will you end up like painful the rest of the world, ankle chains of mediocre, average, settling life, everyone else out there who live in idle, settling, comfortable mediocrity? Or will you be a badass, a high status, successful, elite badass who is self-motivated on his path, who is constantly towards your path? Okay, you look around in your environment, most people will choose the first option. They'll choose a life of comfortable, settling mediocrity. And then we'll turn to dust in the wind. But you, guys like you, guys like me, guys like Donald Trump, Jay-Z, Alexander the great legends of our time, we have one choice. There will only be one choice in our life. Self-motivation, elite action taking, development, legacy. That's what we do. And I'll see you in next month discussion inside with me in Team Freedom Focus. And I think I've already titled it on being a genius. So I'll see you soon. Stay tuned for the next video on being a genius.